Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third edition of the Around the World podcast, where I, Lucas Kleimeyer, and my good friend Jacob Hernandez talk about all the beautiful things surrounding the beautiful game of football. Episode 3. The first two episodes have been pretty successful, Jacob, so pretty excited to do this third one. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Last week I wasn't that tired, but it's a Tuesday morning that we're recording this, not Monday, so I'm actually very, very energetic. So,
That's great. That's great for the podcast.
it should be going. We got a pretty good show here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we got Premier League, Champions League, and some MLS to say.
Which I actually went to. I actually went to the MLS game.
But you went to, I believe, the Cincinnati game?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry.
It was very sad to see, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. So, last week we predicted Manchester United versus Manchester City. That was the Manchester Derby game. And Jacob predicted 3-1 Man City. I predicted 4-1 Man City. Don't want to toot my own horn, but predicted it right, and Man City won 4.
He's great at predictions, we've seen. He predicted Chelsea last week to go to penalties.
Yeah. I think we both did. I think we both predicted the other pens.
No, I didn't.
Didn't I?
I'm not as good as you at predictions. You predicted this this time.
Yeah, either way, we were both pretty right that Man City won pretty
convincing.
Pretty convincingly.
They're just so much better than United this year.
Yeah. Any early thoughts? Anything that immediately jumps off to you before we dive into it?
Manchester United out of the top 4 is probably my biggest thing there.
Yeah, and they got, I believe they played 3 more games than Arsenal. I believe if we look at the table.
Yes, they played 3 extra games versus Arsenal, and they're 1 point behind. They're 2 points ahead of West Ham, who have played the same amount of games, and Tottenham, who are only 2 points behind United, have played 2 less games. So Manchester United are in danger of dropping out of top 5 as well. They may be in 6th, and they may qualify for Conference League.
Yeah, if you're an Arsenal or Chelsea fan, you're probably like 3rd and 4th locked up because they have so many games in hand. But crazier things have happened. But about the game, first half, Sancho had a good goal to tie it. But after that, they just ran away with it. Really, De Bruyne was amazing, had 2 goals. Mahrez's goal was really nice. That was a silky finish from Mahrez did. And yeah, the second half of Manchester United didn't even register a shot on goal. That's
sad.
If that tells you anything, it just they're being accused by their fans because Manchester United fans not only are they a massive fan base, but they tend to overreact.
A bit whack.
Yeah, a bit whacked, and they accuse their team of giving up in the second half. It's just not good for Manchester.
No, it's probably a fair assumption that they gave up. They have been given up in the past.
Yeah.
They got a history of doing that, but for their fans to be mad at their players already, they still got a lot of time to go. The fan base has to be behind them if they want to get back into the top 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be a struggle, but there's still a shot. Arsenal can bottle. I've seen it before.
Yeah. And Harry Maguire again had a terrible game. One of the Manchester City goals came off of a rebound, just went right through his legs, and not something you see from a starting defender for the England national team.
Or $80 million defender.
No.
You don't even see that from me. I'm a high school defender.
We got the manager questioning their motivation. Ronaldo didn't play in this game. I think we should bring that up. Ronaldo or Cavani didn't play. They're both injured. I believe Ronaldo had a hip flexor injury that kept him out, and Cavani, not quite sure what kept him out, but he wasn't even at training this week. But people are saying now Ronaldo just held out because he was upset about coming off the bench last game, and there's just all this stuff. It's not good. It's not good, but
it is not. Manchester United needs some new defenders. They just bought one this year already, and they need some new ones.
Yeah. I don't think there's much else to talk about regarding Manchester City. They're just a really good club. There is something, we'll talk about them with Liverpool, but we'll get to that in just a second.
Just City was just better in every way. Yeah. Their team is better. Their players are better. Their coach is better.
And they're doing this without a striker.
That is correct. They have Phil Foden up top.
I just can't get over that. They are dominating the world, not even just Premier League, but Champions League, and they don't have a striker.
They're kind of playing like the old Spain national team did, with like 5 midfielders playing all over the place, and then David Villa. But at least that's one striker. I guess Guardiola knows, as a Spanish manager, how to play with a bunch of midfielders and no strikers. But for them to dominate this well, even in England without a striker, I feel like that's even tougher.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's probably move on because we got to get through some other topics here. Pulisic scores. Captain America himself again. Chelsea rout Burnley 4-0. Do you think he should be a lockdown for Chelsea, even though they have a very top-heavy attacking team with a bunch of attacking players, and they play a more defensive lineup with 3 center backs and sometimes a couple wing backs instead of wingers?
LeBron James of soccer. I think he should at least be in contention at this rate. The people ahead of him, Lukaku and Werner, Havertz, Mount, himself, and Ziyech. I'd say he's a top player out of that group. I'd say there's some other players that would play before him, but he has to be at least in contention to start every game, and if not, coming off the bench as an impact sub each and every game.
Well, they play a 3-4-2-1, which is kind of like a Christmas tree, and they don't really play with wingers, and he's a winger.
Yeah.
Similar to like Mason Mount, but Mount can do better in the middle than Pulisic can. But I'm with you. I mean, they're starting Kai Havertz up top, but I mean, the way they play, it's not really an out-and-out striker. It's more of false nine or it's whatever. But I mean, Lukaku and Werner, who are their 2 big signings the past 2 years, none of them start because Werner couldn't finish last year, and then they got Lukaku to pretty much replace him, and Lukaku
also
really
can't finish.
Yeah.
He was great in Italy, and he's not good here. So both of their strikers that they paid big money for are just not good here. Yeah. So maybe the Havertz has to stay up top.
Pretty much, yeah. And he scores goals when it matters. I mean, Champions League final. So, I mean, and I think Pulisic's better than Ziyech right now at Chelsea. I think he's in better form. So, I mean, I would say Mason Mount's definitely going to start because England national team and Chelsea.
He's like the face of Chelsea.
Yeah, and he's a good player. He's not like
good player. I'd say Havertz and Mount probably start over him.
Yeah. I mean, if it comes down to if Lukaku or Werner finds their form, I sadly think Pulisic's going to be the one that gets checked off because I think Havertz is pretty much locked to fill himself in 11 when he's healthy.
So it just depends on those 2 strikers how well they start performing. And right now, they don't look like they're going to fix themselves anytime soon. Moving on to my favorite club, Arsenal. So after a series of great goals, have Arsenal shown that they are ready to challenge for and stay in the top 4?
When we thought about this podcast, I never thought we would be talking about good things about Arsenal.
Me either, honestly. And they're my favorite club in England. I didn't think we'd be talking positively about them after a transfer window where they just got rid of everybody, signed no one. Their squad looks kind of weak compared to everybody else. I had no hopes this season for anything big. I mean, I guess no European competitions, so that helps a little bit in the league with a bunch of fixture congestion for the teams around them, not being able to play their full-strength lineup. But still, I would not think anything of Arsenal.
Yeah, but they're in 4th place right now, like we said. I mentioned before, with 48, 5 points behind Chelsea for a 3rd and 1 above Man United. But the biggest thing is, like we said, they have 3 games in hand. I really think they're going to get top 4 as long as the injury bug doesn't get them. And I know we said that last week too, but I mean, they're running form. They're unbeaten in like their last 5 or 6 games, something like that. They haven't lost in a long time, and they're getting wins against teams that they have to, like Wolves. I mean, they have a couple big games coming up. They have to get wins, and a lot can change. They have, I believe, 13 games remaining. So I really do believe as long as the injury bug doesn't hit them or they just don't bottle it like Arsenal, they'll get top 4. But you never know because there's still a good chunk of the season left. You never know what Man United can do. You never know what West Ham can do. You never know what the Spurs can do. We'll see, but...
Yeah, undefeated in the past 5 games. So they're on form, but injuries, that could kill them. I'm looking at their bench right here. I mean, they got Pepe, off the bench. He's pretty good. Holding, Nuno Tavares at outside back. Sambi Lokonga, who they signed this summer. He hasn't played much for the money they spent, but I'd say it's pretty weak bench in my opinion. for a massive Premier League side. Odegaard, fantastic signing, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
For Arsenal, but starting Lacazette up top, I never would have thought that.
Yeah, if you told an Arsenal fan that 2 years ago, because he was the odd man out pretty much with Aubameyang, when Aubameyang was basically just saving Arsenal every week. Lacazette's definitely found his form, but I mean that's why we brought up their thin roster, because they don't have good depth on bench, or at least proven Premier League players. It's a lot of kids, and we'll see. And you have to imagine probably in the summer they'll get a couple more
I was thinking
veterans.
sell Lacazette, keep Aubameyang, but other way around. And then I guess Nketiah is still here, but he's pretty young. I'm not sure if he's gonna stay here. They might sell him too.
Would you be shocked if they got rid of Lacazette this summer? Because I would.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they did. He's aging. I mean, he's a fantastic player for them. He's been performing really well, but I'm not sure if they should keep him or just try and rebuild at the striker position, which I kind of think they have to at this point. They need a starting striker that's better than Lacazette if they want to keep challenging for top four going into the Champions League each year.
Even if they want to do anything in the Champions League either, they don't want to just get bounced in the group stage.
They definitely need a top-tier striker. So Lacazette would have to go to the bench, and you have to think Lacazette probably doesn't want to do that nearing the end of his career at 30 years old. He might want to move to a team back in his home nation of France where he can play a lot more.
Yep. And our last thing for the Premier League, we spent a lot on the Prem this week. We'll go quick on this one. Liverpool beat West Ham 1-0 after they won the EFL Cup. They're only 6 points off of Manchester City now for first place, and who would have thought that after Man City was kind of running away with it? And they have one game in hand, so Jacob, do you think they can catch City?
It's going to be tough. I mean, it's only one game difference, 3 points if they win their game in hand. I never would have thought City and Liverpool would be this close in the title race, but there's always a shot. I mean, Liverpool have looked pretty good. Salah and Mane back from AFCON. They're always on fire. They're two of the best wingers or players in the world. Liverpool has a shot. Manchester City may have some fixture congestion. They're still in the Champions League. They got FA Cup to play.
Mm-hmm. And you have to imagine they're going all in on the Champions League.
Absolutely. I mean, Liverpool also play in the Champions League, but they got a pretty good squad. Manchester City probably have more depth since they spend so much money on their depth. But Liverpool, I mean, they're a strong side. They won the Premier League, so they can do it.
These two teams play once again because they tied 2-2 in October last year. They play April 10th. I believe that might be at Manchester. Might be at City.
Yes, it is in Manchester City.
So that's probably going to be for the Premier League.
Winner of that might win the title, honestly.
Because of the way both these teams form is going. And Liverpool's going to have to win that.
Yeah.
If they want to. So, but you never know. There could be some upsets with the rest of the year that go on. But
a couple shock draws. You never know. But the winner of that is going to be put in a really good position because that could be a 3-point swing.
Yep.
La Liga. To Barcelona, my other top club that I like to watch. I mean, sad that Messi's gone, but I still support them. Memphis Depay returns from injury, comes off the bench to draw the PK and convert it in a 2-1 win over Elche. I also wrote down here that Ferran Torres, who's a great player in my opinion, he's looked really good. His runs off the ball are fantastic. He gets open. He's not like a slow player either. He just can't hit the target.
Yep. Not much really to say about that because, you perfectly described him. Depay coming back is definitely the biggest thing in this game after he was out for a pretty decent time, honestly. He missed
a good chunk of time.
He missed quite a bit. I'm interested to see how him and Aubameyang play together. Maybe if you see Depay go to left wing or maybe Aubameyang goes to left wing and you play them together because I think if they play together, it could be really good.
It'd be a pretty dangerous lineup.
The Bentley came out with a start, but he got subbed out.
They've been looking pretty good, actually. They've been getting results in La Liga. Dani Alves, a 38-year-old right back. I don't know how he's still playing at that level that he is. He's proved me wrong. He's doing fantastic.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's just,
Depay coming back.
you think they're just trying to, they brought him back for mainly just to help Serginho Dest?
Probably good for his development because they're somewhat similar type of players. You know, they're really good on the ball. Dest isn't good defensively.
No.
And Alves probably isn't either at this point in his career, but
I really think that's what Dest needs to work
spirit
on.
development.
Because you see that with men's national team games, Dest just needs to work on his defending ability. And
If he becomes a better defender,
he's a world-class
I
fullback.
yeah, he could become like Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba's really good going forward. He's really quick. He's good at putting in crosses. His crossers are always on point. He scores goals, gets lots of assists each game, and he's somewhat decent defensively. He gets back in defense. If Serginho Dest can develop defensively, I think he could be at Barcelona for years to come.
Yep. All right, and we're going to move on to a little bit of Liga MX.
Just quick
Just
here.
quick.
Just prayers and thoughts for the people involved. In a very sad fight during a match versus Atlas and Querétaro. I'm not sure if you say it like that.
Yeah.
But it's just really sad to see. Apparently there's been fatal, injuries in that brawl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people are fighting during a soccer game or a football game, if you want to call it, but
it's sad. You don't ever like to see that, and this is affecting other competitions as well. The CONCACAF Champions League, when the MLS teams go play Liga MX teams, Mexican teams that are hosting the first leg are not allowed to have fans for the foreseeable future, and you wonder if the Mexican national team, when World Cup qualifiers come up in a couple of weeks, if they're going to allow fans. Because
they might not be able to play at home.
And
these two teams have just really ruined it for the rest of Mexican football.
Yeah, it was sad though. It was very sad and scary to watch. But prayers out to everyone, and hopefully this doesn't happen again.
Yep.
So we'll go give our Champions League predictions because Champions League is this week. A couple games today and a couple games tomorrow. So we're going to predict all 4 games that are this week. We're going to start with Bayern Munich and Salzburg, 1-1 on aggregate, going back to Germany.
Going back to Munich. Neuer is injured. That's pretty big. One of the best goalkeepers in the world for so many years. He's out for a very long time, foreseeable future. Yep. But I think Bayern Munich's just such a strong team. I mean, even without Neuer, they're still so good. They're so strong. I mean, they've won a Champions League. Kimmich in midfield, he's really good. Muller, Lewandowski scoring like 50 goals a year. I'm saying 3-1 Bayern Munich in this leg, and they go through.
Yeah, Neuer, you hate to see that because especially with his age, I hope he can return and be the same kind of keeper he was because he's been so good for so many years. Kind of ageless, honestly. How good he's been. I'm going 2-1 Bayern. I think I basically concur with what Jacob said. They just have too strong of a squad, and I think being in Munich is probably the little edge I'm giving Bayern. But yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1. Definitely do think it's
there's talks of Neuer coming back for this leg, but
no.
If he comes back, doesn't come back, I still think they win.
Yeah. And second one, Liverpool. We just talked about Liverpool versus Inter Milan at Anfield. Liverpool won 2-0 at Inter. So
2 away goals. I think Liverpool comes back. They're not as focused after the 2 away goals. I'm saying a 2-2 draw here, but Liverpool obviously goes through. I think Inter has a really good squad.
Yeah.
Liverpool obviously has a great squad, but Inter's going to be clawing back. They're going to be really on the offensive forefront here. They're going to be searching for lots of goals, coming back from a 2-0 deficit at their home stadium. They're going to need a lot of goals, so I think that's why they give up 2 as well.
Yeah, I don't think Liverpool's going to be as focused. They've played a lot of tough competition the past weeks, the Cup final, and they had a grueling Premier League game that they only won 1-0. So I definitely don't think it's going to be the best game for Liverpool. I'd be shocked if it is, especially if they play a full starting 11, which I bet he probably will, but I would expect
He'll try at least.
They look the same. I mean, they got a good squad in terms of Martinez, Perisic, old friend Alexis Sanchez. Yeah, they got a good squad. This could be a Luis Diaz game if a couple of players like Salah or Mane is fatigued and they need to play. But I do think Liverpool's going to go through. I don't think they're going to win the game, so I'm going to go 1-1 draw.
All right, Manchester City versus Sporting. I don't think this game really matters. Manchester City's already up 5 goals. So Manchester City, depending on the strength of their lineup, they might put out a fully rotated 11. But I still think that even with a fully rotated 11, Manchester City is still a super tough squad to beat. But I think Sporting will win this one because City's not going to care as much being up 5 goals. So I'm saying 3-2 Sporting because they're going to be searching for 6 goals to go through. So
I'll keep it short. I'm betting on this. Guardiola's going to rotate the whole lineup, and I think that's what they're going to do. I'm going to go 2-1 Sporting. I definitely think Manchester City is definitely going to at least score once. I'm going to go 2-1 Sporting, but
this game, too strong of a side.
Too strong of a side. And this would be the greatest comeback in history of
maybe
football.
Even better than the Barcelona one.
Yes,
maybe. This is Sporting versus City. That was, Barcelona is a great side. Yeah. They can always come back, but Sporting, that'd be big.
And our game of the week, Real Madrid versus PSG in Spain. In Madrid, PSG won 1-0 with that late goal by Kylian Mbappe, who's not playing tomorrow due to injury, which I found out after I made this prediction, but I'm not going to change my prediction. Yeah. I'll start. I'm going 2-2 draw in 120 minutes. Actually, I changed my mind. I think it's going to be 1-0 Madrid in 90 minutes, and I think it's going to be a crazy extra time, or vice versa, and it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I think Messi's poised for a big game. He had so many big games in Madrid, and he's a good Champions League player.
He's so good in Madrid.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm saying 2-1 Madrid, but PSG in extra time are just gonna get that goal.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely going to be the game to watch for sure. You can almost see it flip a coin, honestly, with Madrid in the Champions League and PSG. But either way, any team going out is going to be really upset.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we'll cap this off with MLS because MLS second week happened last week, and you were at that Cincinnati game, Jacob.
Was very disappointing. Shout out to my first ever soccer coach for bringing me to the game. It was pretty fun to watch. Actually, I liked it. Actually, the atmosphere again. FC Cincinnati needs to fix that atmosphere. It's not the greatest. They do not care about. It
said it was 22K.
It felt like 3 people. I'm not gonna lie. The Bailey was not loud. No one was cheering. I mean, there wasn't anything to cheer about, obviously, because we can't score. We still have 0 goals this season. But last-second PK to a 10-man DC United to lose 1-0. I think it was in, the 98th minute that they gave up a goal. The red card was in the 80th minute. You think, you know what, we can't score to save our lives, but at least we're going to get a draw here, right? We're going to get a point. We're going to start off, second game of the season, we're going to get a point. We're going to get better as the year goes on. But no, we give up a PK in the 98th minute. I'm not sure if it was a PK. I don't know. It's not my thing to judge, really, but so sad to see another loss back to the bottom of our conference. Another wooden spoon in the making, I'd say.
When you play Braden Vasquez and Don Baji in MLS in 2022 up top, you're not going to score a goal. Even if it's against DC United like that. Baji's all right from time to time this year. Vasquez is a good striker to come off the bench, back up, but this team's
still a great bench player.
This team does not have a striker still. I think it's pretty clear they don't like Brenner, even though they spent $13 million on him. He's been back for a week and a half, and they didn't even start him. And even when he does play, he looks disinterested. And
he just doesn't try. He's not even good. I don't know how. $13 million, young Brazilian player. You have a lot of high hopes for a kid like that, but he just hasn't performed.
I think it was smart for Pat Noonan to go back to 5 in the back or a 3 in the back with 3 center backs because he realized once again this team can't actually go out and play because
we don't have the facilities for that. We don't have the players that he used to have.
Junior Moreno is a former DC United player who I think will be a good D-mid, but that back line, they need just a quality center back. They still don't have one. Blackett might be that. Vallecio's not developed. Cameron and Hagelin are washed. I'm sorry. Unless I see anything otherwise,
Blackett was decent. I mean, we still need a striker. We need a center back. We still probably need a goalkeeper. I mean, I know it's not Alec Cann's fault, but he's wasn't the best in his first game. FC Cincinnati still probably needs an entire squad overhaul at this rate. Just a full new starting 11.
I can't say you're wrong, but they go to Orlando next Saturday, and
probably gonna get smashed.
Good luck with that. Orlando's really good once again, or they should be. And last thing we'll talk about, my Columbus Crew choked and gave up a 2-goal lead to a 10-man San Jose with 7 minutes to go. They're up 3-1. They went down 1-0 to a kind of questionable PK call. Lucas Kleimeyer, who's just the greatest player ever. He scored a free kick and scored a banger to lead 2-1. Zardes came off the bench and scored once again. They got a red card in the 35th minute, so that's pretty much when we scored 3 unanswered. But we can't defend set pieces, and Francisco Calvo's Costa Rican center back scored off a corner and off a free kick to tie the game.
You'd have to think after such an early red card in the 33rd minute that San Jose would be tired at the end of the game. Columbus Crew would be able to see out a 2-goal lead, but they didn't. They turned into FC Cincinnati for about 10 minutes.
They did. Eli Room he sold. The second goal, when he came out, when he kind of shouldn't have, but either way, I think that goal was probably going in. It was an amazing ball put in, but the corner, he doesn't even dive for the tying goal.
You have to try.
And I know Nagby was on the goal post, but once after the ball fled in, he kind of moved off of it. It was very frustrating. I'm sure Caleb Porter was frustrated as well. If they want to be an elite team, a contending team, you can't drop points when games
pick up those points there.
When you clearly should have won. They still have 4 points. It's still a good start to the year, but the way the game went, they definitely should have won. But
I mean, they're still top. They're third right now. Got a good goal difference of 4.
Yeah.
So they're still looking pretty good.
Yeah. And they play home to Toronto next week, and I definitely believe they should win that game because Toronto got wiped 4-1 by the Red Bulls.
Yeah, Toronto's
not good.
Not a fantastic side.
Insignia's coming in the summer.
Yeah, but he's not here now, so that's what matters. Columbus probably wins that game. I'd say FC Cincinnati loses again, and Columbus gets back to winning ways.
Does FC Cincinnati get their first goal of the year next week in Orlando?
Honestly, I don't think so. From what I saw at the game, we have, we don't create chances. The chances we did create, we missed them by a pretty big margin. It was really sad to see the amount of misses that we had.
Yeah, it's really amazing seeing the difference between the two Ohio teams and where they're at, just as a club in general.
It's so sad.
But yeah, that's gonna conclude it. We'll probably recap the Champions League next week, starting the show. We'll probably have it out earlier, maybe. We'll see, depending on the day we record, but we shall see.
Yeah, it was good that we recorded this one before the Champions League games.
Very true.
You got all our predictions this time.
Yeah, we can.
So thank you guys for listening to the 3rd episode of the Around the World podcast. We're going to recap all the Champions League games next week and preview the next week's games on our next episode. And see you next time.